My name is John Dingee. I live in East Braintree. My family moved here in 1976. I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2016. Started with my son, Scott, my youngest son. He developed Hodgkin's disease, 11 years ago, I believe. My oldest son, John, was diagnosed with a glioblastoma. He was given 9 months to live, and that was in 2017. So he's lasted quite a while through this, but he's not doing well at this point. None of these cancers have any history in my family or my wife's family. So, how does it start?
Where? To your right. This? Yep, don't touch it.
I took this way.
I think I'm going to go this way. You told me to go this way. Yeah. Right through the poison ivy. Yeah.
There's a nest up there.
This is an osprey. Wow. We have them every year.
There's a nest right up there.
They come back.
See the nest?
Not yet. Over here you can see it from here.
It used to be the old Boston Edison generating plant. And you can see the towers behind it is the Fore River Bridge. And when I first moved in here, I used to bring the kids down to watch them launch ships. Those big LNG tankers were actually launched from that facility over there. It was quite a sight. Things have changed, but not really gone away. The only thing gone away is the General Dynamics shipyard. The way they used to dispose of things back then. A lot of sludge, a lot of arsenic, benzene, material like that. And where the Citgo terminal is now, the oil terminal, used to be a refinery. So a lot of product had seeped into the ground. You'll quite often see a tarry substance oozing out of the rocks. So there's still some product left. Stuff sticks around for years. You just can't get all of it. Yeah, one thing I've done, I used to have a big garden out where the pool was. And the only garden I have now is in containers. It may be all right, but I don't know. And maybe that's the hardest part. We don't know. We realize with all this industry, there has to be something. For what? We don't know. We have a good idea of it, of what it may be. But we don't know, and that's the hardest part. And I sincerely believe that in this part of Braintree, we have a cluster of cancers and lung issues. Let's find out why. So you just picture this area as being a bowl. So we are a basin. A lot does not escape from here. It sits right in the basin and stays there. So I think the topography, the landscape around here contributes to holding in a lot of this material. There's only two ways out, well actually three. Stays in the groundwater, goes straight up in the air, maybe hits other communities, or it goes out toward the harbor, toward Boston. So there's three different cancers, but I know there's a lot of commonality in these cancers. The way it travels through your bloodstream, your bones, the endocrine system. My son Scott, he's a couple of years younger than John. He was diagnosed 11 years ago with Hodgkin's. He went through the chemo, he went through the daily chemo, he went through the radiation and all. And knock on wood, he seems to be in remission now. And the gentleman in the middle is me. And I was diagnosed in 2016 with prostate cancer, like many of my neighbors around here. I don't want to see another parent burying their child, or any child to go through this type of thing. These boys have been Linda lives, and to see this happen to both of them, and this happen to John. There's a father who's going to be living 7 children, and he's only 40. Well, if he lives long enough, he'll be 48 in September. It's just, it's not right. He's led a healthy life, exercised. The shape he was in was unbelievable. Didn't smoke, none of that. So what would have caused it? He's done as much with his children as he could to give them some great memories. Great memories. He's certainly given us some great memories. And I think, to me, having a child of our own that cares that much about his family, to just keep pushing to give them all that he can, is just, it's overwhelming. So all I know is this: I will fight this until the end, because it's just not right. This can't happen to anyone else, and shouldn't happen. And to any official who thinks the greater good would be getting gas to all the big businesses who are raking in the money, I say, screw you. You know, this is not just a local issue. This is global, definitely across the United States. These gas lines are not supplying gas here to Braintree. They're not supplying gas to Massachusetts. This compressor station is going to be pushing gas up to Canada. The only good it's doing is the profits of the gas companies, period.
Meter station, which is already located within Weymouth's industrial area treatment plant.
They make it look like a library. This is better. It looks like it will look like industrial.
Gas turbines are used across the globe in factories, power plants,
It's not the same kind of compressor. It's a transmission compressor. They've got a picture of Harvard. But it's not the same compressor. Incredible.
We'll use a similar turbine connected to a compressor to help boost natural gas from point A
to Canada.
This turbine runs off with the natural gas in the pipeline, so the exhaust is clear, odorless, and is
The exhaust is full of benzene, formaldehyde, 1,3-butadiene, all kinds of toxins.
How do I know? I've led a healthy and happy life working daily at a compressor station.
This guy's an actor. He definitely is not working here.
Stations I've worked at over the years, this station will be equipped with mufflers, insulation materials.
If they over-insulate it, they blow up.
Help minimize the noise
Just a little aside. They can't insulate it that much. The roof has to blow off.
And to maintain safe operations,
yeah, they've got a place in Texas where they maintain safe operations, kind of like what Columbia Gas did in Lawrence. Nobody was paying attention. I love this map. It's wall-to-wall compressor stations across the entire United States, every square inch. It's not clean. It's filthy. That's because they're shorting us on gas. Ask the local power stations. They will still be ripping us off.
Jobs in the region.
the year before my lung cancer diagnosis, my mother was diagnosed with CML leukemia. My immediate reaction was, oh my God, is this genetic? And they were very quick to answer, no, it is environmental. She's lived her entire 89 years in Quincy Point. I am Judy Folsom Roberts, and in 2006, I was diagnosed with BAC, non-small cell lung cancer. BAC stands for bronchoalveolar carcinoma. After a dozen years of being in a lung cancer study and being a lifelong non-smoker, it has come to the lung cancer study doctors that this cancer of mine was caused by environmental factors. It has also uncovered for me and all of us involved the high amount of pre-existing toxins that are in the Fore River Basin. One might say it has an incredibly terrible toxic legacy. I became aware of a biomonitoring study to take different pockets of people from around the state of Massachusetts, around the Commonwealth, and test their blood for heavy metal toxins so that they could determine if there are problems in different parts of the state. And then I realized it would also be a good idea to have my son participate in the state's DPH study, because he too has grown up in the Fore River Basin. We received the results several months ago. Our blood levels for chemicals such as mercury and arsenic and several other chemicals that I can't remember or even pronounce, that the state lab tested for and that our environmental group has been testing on the ground and air for, they all collided, and they were there in the blood of myself and my son. He's not 59 years old, he's 22. And he grew up with a mother who gave him organic and tried to eat all the healthiest things and everything that I could control, make sure he was going to receive optimal health. And the one thing that's out of my control was the environment and the toxic legacy of the neighborhood. I couldn't change that. I knew I had to get us out of there now. The reason for the move was solely as a result of the toxins that we've been exposed to and not wanting to put my son in harm's way anymore once I learned about it with certainty. I try to do my part to be as proactive, to take care of health. And so this is the place where I do it. And my refrigerator is a reflection of that. You can see just, the organic greens that we eat and every other thing. This is a little noteworthy because since my son and I were given those disturbing biomonitoring results, we've started eating cilantro every day because apparently it has high antioxidants, and the impact it has on the molecular structure is to detoxify. And you will see this is just one of the boxes that my son and I, one for me and one for him, that we just got as we begin our chelation therapy, and I'm going to start to learn about them. This is the not so nice thing that we have to take to get rid of the super not so nice toxins that we got courtesy of the fossil fuel industry. Thank you very much. And this could go on, I am learning, for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But in doing so, hopefully prevent, mitigate, or at least minimize any damage that has already been done to our DNA to us on a cellular, on a molecular level that I may never be able to reverse, which as a mother is beyond heartbreaking.
Ready? Go. My name's Debbie Yanulis. I used to live in Quincy, Mass. I grew up on Wilgus Road, and it's across from the Fore River Bridge. And at the end of our street was water, and we used to go down there and swim and have a good time, and it didn't always smell so great. I always remember smelling soap in the air. And I believe that came from the Fore River Bridge area, one of the sites over there in their plant, and it just would come out their smokestacks. That's what I remember and I still remember it to this day. It's nasty, gross smell of soap. You know, the low tides, you could go down to the beach and there'd be dead fish. November of 2012, I was diagnosed with IPF, which is idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. It's an incurable lung disease. Breathe in and you breathe out. Well, I could breathe in, but when I breathed out, I could not get rid of all the air in my lungs. So I basically would have suffocated. Thankfully, God bless my donor, I have new lungs now. Kick, keep going. You're almost there. Good job. For the disease that I have, that's not a common disease to have, and for myself and one of my neighbors that I was close with in my neighborhood to have the same exact disease that I have, and to have a lung transplant. So there is a common denominator between him and I, growing up in the same area, in the same neighborhood, breathing in that air, swimming in the same water that we swam in. It's just, it has to be. To me, that's what has to have made us sick. I firmly believe, because this disease is only caused by a few things, and environmental is one of the things that it's caused by. I think in that small environment, there's just too much industry. It's a tiny little place. It's not a big city. I mean, it is a city, but it's not a big city with a lot of open land. Growing up in that area, you know, my parents both died from cancer. And there was a lot of people in that one little 4-street neighborhood that have died from cancer. All different types of cancer, but they all died from cancer. I know that one of the other bigger families in our neighborhood, but there were 11 in that family. There's not 11 in that family anymore. They had a brother that died from leukemia. She had a sister that passed a few years ago from cancer. Her mom, she died from leukemia as well as her son. My neighbor across the street also died from cancer. There's too many people in one area, one little 4-section street. And it's a lot bigger than just our little area. It goes all the way down the street, it's just everywhere in that vicinity. I don't want to see other people go through this. People need to learn, people need to be educated, including the governor and the DEP. People have suffered enough from the stuff that comes from that area. And now to put something else there is just wrong. The DEP, the governor, they all need to do their research. They need to see what this type of environment is already doing to people, let alone add more environmental issues to that one little area. And the governor needs to do his job, and he needs to watch out for people. He needs to help. He needs to stop it from going in there. The DEP, they need to look at records from before. They need to see the cancers that have been caused by that area. It's wrong. It pisses me off. You want to get your belly done? Turn around, I gotta do your shoulders. Turn around. Thank you.
Here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for telling me we need to be sunblocked. 2, 3, go! They need to have stuff leave so that the next generation isn't as sick as this generation or the generation before that. Yeah. You wouldn't want to do this all day long.
We're in a park that was also part of an opposition. Mary Toomey was the founder of the Back River Watershed Association. She was a woman with great talent and a tremendous legacy. I was a student of Mary Toomey's, and I assisted her here with the development of the Abigail Adams State Park, which we were so thrilled to be able to see completed in Mary's lifetime. She gave 17 years to this project alone to acquire the 3 parcels of land and restore what was really a junk site and a salvage company that was really polluting the Back River into this beautiful open space park that commemorates the legacy of Abigail Adams and documents many quotes of Abigail's letters throughout the Revolutionary War period and into independence. So we are most grateful to have this open space and all of the other 9 parks that Mary Toomey worked to preserve while she was saving the Back River from pollution. In contrast, we're looking at this, a restored area, to the Fore River Basin, which was once one of the biggest estuaries in all of Massachusetts. Of course, it has been plagued with industry and the shipbuilding industry throughout the war period. These industries at the time seemed necessary, but at this point in our history, we are now looking at the negative impacts of this type of over-industrialization on the economy, the environment, the health, most importantly, of our community. So we really need to look at what's been done here and ask ourselves, why can't we do the same there?